Glad to see my beloved brothers and sisters. Let me start with a simple question. If every time you faced a difficulty, you ran to people and told the world your problems, do you think your problems would go away? In fact, many times they only get heavier. The more you talk, the more opinions you receive, the more confused you become, and the less peace you find. Today I want to remind you of something powerful. Stop telling everyone your problems. Not everyone who listens cares, and not everyone who cares can help. The truth is, most people are too busy with their own struggles to solve yours. Some may even use your weakness against you. And others, instead of giving you comfort, may increase your pain with careless words. So where do we go with our burden? We turn to the one who never gets tired of listening. Allah Almighty says, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." This is not just a verse, it is a promise. When you cry to Allah, you are speaking to the only one who truly understands your pain, your fears, your hidden tears. Unlike people, Allah does not expose you. Allah does not judge you. Allah does not tire of you. Remember, my brothers and sisters, privacy is protection. The more you open your problems to the world, the more vulnerable you become. Keep your dignity. Share only with those who are trustworthy, wise and sincere. But most importantly, pour your heart out in your sujood. That is where solutions are born. You see, when you constantly complain to people, you train yourself to depend on them. But when you complain to Allah, you strengthen your connection with the most powerful. That connection brings peace even before the problem is solved. Because deep down, you know your affairs are in the hands of the one who never makes mistakes. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, don't rush to pick up your phone to call 100 people. Instead, rush to your prayer mat. Talk to Allah in the silence of the night, with tears if you must. He will grant you clarity, patience, and eventually a way out. When we talk about sharing our problems with others, the first thing to realize is that not everyone cares about your struggles, and even if they do, not everyone has the ability to help you. This is a reality of life that many people ignore until they are deeply hurt. When you go through difficulties, the natural human tendency is to look for someone to talk to, someone to unburden your heart to. But the truth is, most people are too occupied with their own lives, their own worries and their own struggles to truly understand what you are going through. They might listen to you out of politeness, but that doesn't mean they are deeply invested in your well-being. Many times people hear your story and forget it within minutes, because to them it is just another piece of information. To you it is your world, but to them it may mean almost nothing. The danger is not only that people may not care, but also that some may misuse the information you share. Vulnerability is a sensitive. The moment you open up about your weaknesses, you give someone access to a part of you that can be used against you. How many times have we seen friendships break and private conversations being repeated to others? How many times have we seen someone's secrets being exposed simply because they trusted the wrong person? It can be heartbreaking to realize that what you shared in confidence is now the subject of gossip or mockery. This is why being selective with your words and cautious with your trust is a form of wisdom. Even among those who care, the ability to actually help is very limited. Think about it. A friend may listen to you, a relative may comfort you, but can they remove the burden from your heart? Can they change your situation overnight? Most of the time they cannot. All they can offer are words, sometimes helpful, sometimes not. In fact, when too many opinions are given, you can become even more confused. One person tells you to do one thing, another tells you the opposite, and you end up feeling more lost than before. That is the reality of depending too much on people. Another subtle harm of constantly telling others your problems is that it can make you appear as though you are always complaining. People start to see you as someone who only brings negativity. Over time, some may even begin to avoid you, not because they are bad, but simply because they do not have the energy to absorb your pain alongside their own. Every single person is carrying a hidden battle, and when you add your own to them repeatedly, it can become too much. This does not mean we should never seek advice or never open up, but it does mean that not every detail of your struggle needs to be shared with everyone. At the heart of this point is a lesson in self-respect. When you constantly share your struggles openly, you strip away a layer of dignity from yourself. People may start labeling you as weak, helpless, or overly dependent. But when you learn to carry yourself with strength, when you keep your struggles private, you maintain an aura of respect. Even if you are broken inside, others will see your resilience, not your despair. That image of strength often inspires others and even encourages you to be stronger. So the reality is simple. Not everyone cares, and not everyone can help. When you recognize this truth, you begin to protect yourself from unnecessary disappointment. You stop expecting too much from people who are limited, and you begin to redirect your heart to the one who is unlimited in mercy, wisdom, and power. This does not mean you should isolate yourself, but it does mean you should stop burdening yourself with the false belief that sharing everything with everyone will bring relief. Real relief comes from turning to Allah, and until you learn that, you will keep getting hurt by misplaced trust. When life becomes heavy and the heart feels suffocated, most people instinctively look for someone to talk to. They pick up their phone, they scroll through their contacts, and they ask themselves who might listen. There is a powerful truth that often gets overlooked. No one listens the way Allah listens. Unlike people, Allah does not get tired of hearing you. Allah does not get bored, and Allah never sees your problems as small or insignificant. The reality is that you could repeat the same dua, the same pain, the same complaint 1,000 times, and every single time Allah listens with full attention, mercy, and compassion. People, on the other hand, may get tired of you after the first few moments. They might sigh, look away, or even cut you off because their patience has limits. But the patience of Allah is infinite. His mercy has no boundary, and His doors are always open. When you sit in prayer and whisper your secrets to Allah, you are speaking to the one who knows you better than you know yourself. Before the words even leave your lips, Allah already knows the depth of your pain. Before you even begin to cry, He is aware of the tears hidden in your chest. You don't need to explain yourself fully. You don't need to find the right words, and you don't need to worry about being misunderstood. With Allah, there is no such fear. He sees the intention, He knows the sincerity, and He understands your silence even more than your speech. Another powerful aspect of turning to Allah is that He never exposes. People may unintentionally or deliberately reveal your secrets, but Allah protects your dignity. You can pour your heart out in dua. You can admit your mistakes, and you can confess your weaknesses, and all of it remains safe between you and your Creator. This is why many scholars have said that the believer should learn to complain less to people and complain more to Allah. Because Allah never spreads your flaws, He covers them, and in that cover is mercy. He wants you to return to Him privately, humbly, without fear of embarrassment. When you talk to Allah, you are not just sharing your problems, you are actively seeking solutions from the one who has control over every solution. If you are worried about money, Allah is the provider. If you are anxious about your future, Allah is the planner. If you are grieving over a loss, Allah is the healer. Every pain has a cure, and every lock has a key, and all of it lies with Him. Talking to Allah is not like talking to people who can only sympathize. It is talking to the King of Kings, who can change your condition with a single command. There is also a deep spiritual comfort that comes when you realize Allah listens. Even if your problem is not solved immediately, just knowing that your voice has reached the heavens is enough to calm your heart. Many times Allah grants tranquility in the heart before He grants a solution in the world. You finish your dua, and suddenly feel lighter, even though nothing externally has changed. That feeling is a gift, a sign that Allah is with you, and that alone is more valuable than endless conversations with people who cannot provide real peace. That person has no audience, no likes, no sympathy comments, but they have something much greater. They have the attention of the Lord of the worlds. That moment of connection is priceless, because while people's advice may run out, Allah's mercy never runs. While people may eventually forget what you told them, Allah never forgets a single word you whispered to Him. So when problems overwhelm you, train yourself to first turn upward before you turn outward. Make Allah the first one you confide in, not the last. Because when you trust Him with your pain, you are never left empty-handed. He either gives you a way out, or He gives you patience, or He gives you peace. But He always gives you something, and that is a guarantee no human being can ever promise. One of the greatest gifts a believer can give themselves is the gift of privacy. When you keep your personal struggles and difficulties to yourself, you are not only protecting your heart, but you are also safeguarding your dignity. Many people do not realize how much vulnerability they expose when they openly share every detail of their hardships with others. The more you speak about your pain to everyone, the more you lose control over how that information will be. Some may sympathize, others may ignore. And unfortunately, there are always those who might use it against you. By keeping your matters private, you protect yourself from unnecessary harm and maintain your self-respect in the eyes of people. Dignity is a treasure, and once it is damaged, it is very difficult to restore. When you constantly complain and reveal your problems publicly, you may begin to appear weak or helpless. People might start to see you as someone who cannot handle life, and that image can reduce the respect they have for you. It is not because you are actually weak, but because the constant sharing of your struggles creates that perception. On the other hand, when you remain composed and maintain silence about your personal difficulties, people see strength in you. They admire how you carry yourself, even though they may not know what storms you are facing. That admiration itself gives you a sense of empowerment, and it encourages you to persevere even more strongly. Privacy also helps protect your peace of mind. When you share your problems with too many people, you invite too many voices into your life. Everyone will have an opinion, everyone will give advice, and often those opinions will contradict one another. Instead of feeling lighter, you feel heavier because now your mind is crowded with confusion. You may start doubting yourself, questioning every step, and feeling even more lost than before. By keeping your problems private, you avoid this chaos. You allow yourself the space to think clearly, to reflect, and to seek guidance directly from Allah without being overwhelmed by human noise. Another powerful reason to protect your privacy is that not everyone who listens to you wishes well for you. Some people may pretend to care, but inside they feel satisfaction that you are struggling. They may even use your weaknesses as a form of gossip or as a weapon against you in the future. This is why our tradition teaches us to be cautious with our words and to guard our secrets. Once a secret leaves your mouth, it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the person you entrusted it with. And whether they keep it safe or expose it is beyond your control. Protecting your privacy means keeping control over your life and your narrative. It is also important to understand that not every problem requires public discussion. Some matters are meant to be between you and Allah. When you choose silence with people but speech with Allah, you gain a kind of strength that cannot be matched. You know that you are not bottling up your emotions, but rather channeling them to the one who can actually bring relief. In this way, your privacy becomes not a burden but it allows you to face the world with calmness, while pouring your vulnerabilities into the hands of Allah in private. When we look at the lives of the righteous before us, we see that many of them carried their burdens with quiet dignity. They did not parade their struggles before people. They lifted them to Allah. They understood that the more you expose yourself to the world, the more open you are to disappointment, judgment and ridicule. But the more you expose yourself to Allah, the more mercy, forgiveness and strength you receive. Privacy is not about isolation. It is about protecting your dignity while directing your heart to the right source of help. In the end, privacy is empowerment. It allows you to walk through life with your head high, even when your heart feels heavy. It shields you from unnecessary harm and keeps your dignity intact. And most importantly, it ensures that the one who truly knows your struggles is the one who has the power to resolve them. That kind of protection is far greater than any comfort people can provide. When it comes to sharing your problems, it is not always wrong to speak. Sometimes expressing your feelings to another person can bring relief, guidance, but the key is to be wise about whom you choose to share with. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world, and not everyone is equipped to carry the weight of your struggles. This is why choosing wisely whom you confide in is a sign of maturity and wisdom. It reflects your understanding that your heart is valuable, your dignity is precious, and your personal story should not be placed in careless hands. In life, there are people who truly care about your well-being. They may be close family members, trusted friends, or mentors who have shown you loyalty and compassion over time. These are the people whose advice comes from sincerity and whose words are not driven by jealousy or hidden agendas. When you confide in such people, you feel safe because you know they want the best for you. Their guidance often comes from a place of genuine love and concern, and they do not expose your secrets to the world. Having one or two such people in your life is a blessing, but it requires discernment to identify them. The danger lies in confiding in those who only pretend to care. They may listen with a sympathetic face, but in their hearts they are collecting your words as future ammunition. Such individuals may gossip about your struggles, mock you behind your back, or even use your weaknesses against you when the relationship changes. This is why being selective is crucial. It is better to remain silent than to open your heart to someone who will not value its content. Every time you share a problem, ask yourself, is this person trustworthy, wise, and sincere? If there is doubt in your heart, it is often a sign to stay quiet. Another important aspect of choosing wisely is not just about trust, but also about wisdom. There are people who love you deeply, but may not have the maturity or knowledge to guide you properly. If you share your struggles with them, they might give you advice based on emotion rather than wisdom, which could make your situation worse. For example, someone may advise you to act impulsively out of anger or frustration, not realizing the long-term consequences. This is why our faith teaches us to seek advice from people of knowledge, experience, and sincerity. A wise person will not only keep your secrets safe, but also guide you with advice that benefits you in both this life and the hereafter. It is also important to remember that sometimes sharing is not about seeking solutions, but simply about lightening the burden on your heart. Even in these moments, wisdom in choosing your listener is vital. The right person will listen with empathy, remind you of Allah, and encourage patience. The wrong person might dismiss your feelings, make you feel worse, or spread your pain further. This is why having one trusted person is far more valuable than having a large group of people to confide in. Quality matters more than quantity when it comes to trust. By choosing carefully whom you share with, you protect yourself from unnecessary harm. You prevent your dignity from being compromised and ensure that your personal struggles remain within a safe circle. More importantly, this carefulness teaches you reliance on Allah, because even when you confide in someone trustworthy, your ultimate dependence should not be on them, but on Allah. They are only a means of comfort. He is the true source of healing. So while speaking to people has its place, remember that not everyone deserves access to your inner self. Protect your heart like you would protect a precious jewel. Only place it in the hands of those who will honor it, respect it, and help you preserve your dignity. In doing so, you not only safeguard yourself from betrayal, but also strengthen your reliance on Allah, the one who will never misuse your trust. There is a powerful transformation that happens when you learn to complain less to people and complain more to Allah. Turning your heart towards Allah in your moments of difficulty is not only an act of faith, it is a source of immense strength. People can only listen. They cannot truly change your destiny. They may sympathize, but they cannot alter your circumstances. Allah, on the other hand, is the one who controls every detail of your life. When you complain to Him, you are not simply expressing pain. You are entrusting your situation to the one who has the power to fix it in ways you could never imagine. When you constantly depend on people, you begin to feel helpless whenever they are unavailable or uninterested. Your sense of stability becomes tied to their reactions. If they listen with care, you feel relief. But if they dismiss you, you feel crushed. This cycle weakens you. because your peace becomes tied to human beings who are limited and but when you turn to Allah, you discover a different kind of strength. Your heart learns to rely on the all-powerful, the all-wise, the one who is never tired of listening. Even when the entire world turns away from you, you realize that Allah is still near, and that awareness itself gives you strength to continue. Complaining to Allah also trains you in patience. It allows you to release your emotions without losing your dignity. You can cry to Him, admit your fears, and pour out your heart without shame. No one will judge you, no one will mock you, no one will misunderstand you. And in that sacred exchange, you begin to feel lighter. The act of dua itself becomes a form of healing, because as you speak to Allah, you remind yourself that you are not alone. He is listening, and He has already promised that He is closer to you than your jugular vein. The beauty of turning to Allah is that even if your external problem does not change immediately, your internal state begins to shift. You start to feel calmer, more centered, and more hopeful. You begin to see your struggles not as meaningless pain, but as part of Allah's loves, wisdom and plan. This inner peace is a gift that no human being can provide. A friend may try to comfort you, but only Allah can grant tranquility to your heart in the middle of chaos. Only Allah can give you strength to smile while carrying a burden that once felt unbearable. Another layer of strength that comes from complaining to Allah is the realization that nothing is wasted. Every tear you shed in prayer, every whisper you make in the night, every sigh that escapes your chest, it is all recorded, all heard, and all responded to in ways you may not see immediately. Allah may remove your hardship, or He may replace it with something better, or He may give you patience so profound that you look back and realize the hardship was a blessing in disguise. This certainty that nothing is ignored empowers you to face life with courage. Over time, when you make it a habit to turn first to Allah, your entire perspective on problems changes. You stop panicking as much. You stop fearing the opinions of people, and you stop feeling desperate for their sympathy. Instead, you cultivate resilience, because you know that the one you rely on is never absent. This strength radiates in your character, in your words, and in your presence. People may wonder how you remain calm despite difficulties, and the answer lies in your secret conversations with Allah. In truth, complaining to Allah is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. It is the choice to lean on the one who never fails, rather than collapsing under the weight of human limitations. When you do this, your problems may not disappear overnight, but your ability to handle them grows, and that strength becomes a shield that carries you through life's challenges with dignity, faith, and hope. There is a kind of healing that cannot be found in conversations with people, no matter how caring or sincere they are. That healing only comes when you reduce unnecessary complaints to others and increase your private conversations with Allah. Silence with people does not mean bottling up your emotions. Rather, it means protecting your dignity and choosing the right place to release your pain. When you train your heart to speak more to Allah than to anyone else, you discover a peace that words cannot fully describe. It is a peace born from knowing that the one listening has full knowledge of your past, your present, and your future, and that He alone has the power to change your situation. When you constantly share your struggles with people, you may find temporary relief, but it rarely lasts. After the conversation ends, the weight often returns, sometimes heavier than before. But when you stand in front of Allah, pour out your heart in dua and shed tears in sujood, you experience a different kind of relief, one that lingers in the soul. Even if the problem itself remains unsolved for a time, your heart feels lighter, because you know you have handed your affairs over to the one who never fails. That sense of handing over, of letting go, is one of the greatest forms of healing. Silence with people also helps you maintain a sense of composure and strength. When you stop constantly talking about your problems, others, this does not mean you are pretending. It means You are choosing to protect your vulnerability and only share it where it matters most, with Allah. This quiet strength often inspires others, and it helps you preserve your own dignity. You realize that you do not need validation or sympathy from the world when you already have the attention of the Lord of the worlds. In those private conversations with Allah, something beautiful happens. Your perspective begins to shift. You stop seeing your trials as pure misery and begin to see them as opportunities for growth, patience, and closeness to Allah. When you whisper your fears, your disappointments, and your dreams to Him, you feel heard in a way that no human being could ever provide. You may rise from prayer with the same challenges awaiting you, but inside you are stronger, calmer, and more hopeful. This internal transformation is what gives you the ability to continue with dignity despite external difficulties. Another blessing of limiting your complaints to people and focusing on Allah is that it strengthens your relationship with Him. The more you turn to Allah, the more connected you become. Every diyar, every tear, every sigh and prayer builds a deeper bond between you and your Creator. Over time, you begin to look forward to those moments of solitude with Allah, because they become the safe space where your heart finds rest. And once you taste that kind of peace, the noise of the world loses its power to shake you. It is also important to remember that people may offer advice, but only Allah offers solutions. People may comfort you, but only Allah can truly heal you. People may promise to help, but only Allah. When you focus your energy on speaking to Him more than to anyone else, you align your heart with the true source of help. This alignment saves you from disappointment, because you no longer place unrealistic expectations on human beings. Instead, you place your trust in the one whose knowledge and mercy have no limit. So silence with people and conversation with Allah is not weakness, it is wisdom. It allows you to guard your dignity, protect your peace and strength. It teaches you that your ultimate refuge is not in human ears, but in divine mercy. And once you learn to live this way, you realize that the most healing words you will ever speak are not to people, but to Allah. In the quiet of your heart, that is where true strength, true peace, and true healing